Hello, and here I am today to talk about Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. I love Jean-Claude Van Damme. Everybody knows that I do, but I'm going to give you my top 10 list from, it's not even worst to best, it's like the top 10 that I like to watch. I don't even want to diss these movies in any way, because these are a massive part of me. And I know that most of these movies are not that good. But for me, they are. They bring something for me that I can't explain, and it must bring something for others, because about 4,000 people subscribed to my channel because of Jean-Claude Van Damme. I was posting clips of him doing the brick smash in Bloodsport, and the world went wild and started to sub to me. And it was a crazy time, and here we are now talking about Jean-Claude Van Damme. So, in this particular order, I'm going to start. So, at number 10, we've got The Quest, which is Van Damme's own baby of a film. It's an adventure film with a fighting tournament twist. This movie is great because it's a bold attempt at him trying to do something different, but trying to include what he does best, which is fighting. The only problem with this film is we've seen it all before, but the heart that he puts into it and the effort and managing to score Roger Moore to be a part of this really makes it an endearing, rewatchable movie, and I love to rewatch it any time of the year. So The Quest is at number 10. Now for me, at number 9, I've got Double Team. Double Team is a very pretty film. It's very futuristic. We get to see Mickey Rourke, Dennis Rodman, and Jean-Claude Van Damme all in the same movie. Like, what more could you ask for? The only thing that lets it down is Dennis Rodman, because the film itself is actually pretty good. It should have done better. I think if they wouldn't have had Dennis Rodman and cast somebody just that little bit less controversial and ridiculous, then I think this film could have made it at the cinema and done pretty well. Now, what have I got next? Universal Soldier at number 8. People went to see this at the cinema. I do love it, but not as much as the rest. And I think it's because Dolph Lundgren gets a lot of the screen time too. Like, it's both of these actors and characters in this. It's not a particularly just a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. Is it good? Yeah. Has it got rewatchability? For sure. It's a brilliant film. But it's not my number 1, and you'll know why. Okay, at number 7, we've got Double Impact. I love rewatching this film. I've seen this film at least 25 times. It's a delight to watch. It's a high octane, which is a word I use a lot, but just fighting extravaganza of these two brothers who are well played by Van Damme. You know, he tries his best. We get to see Jean-Claude Van Damme reunited with Bolo Young. Is it a bit lackluster of a rematch of a fight? A little bit. But the rest of the film is superb. It's got that late 80s hanging on to the 80s sort of vibe. The outfits that they're all wearing are ridiculous, which makes it even funnier, and has an element of rewatchability that I can't explain. I don't know if it's because of the special effects of them trying to do the split screen, making Van Damme play two people, and I've always had an intrigue of how do they do that. Does it look dated? Yes. But do you believe it? Yeah, you believe that there's two twin brothers who are out for revenge for the death of their parents and what's going to happen with their business. And for that reason, it's where it's at. So, at number 6, we have got Lionheart, which is called Airwall if you live in the UK, but we'll call it Lionheart. This film is great because you can watch this any time of the day. There's like a family vibe to it, even though it's a very violent film and it's about street fighting to make money. There is an undertone of family values in there, and you know that good is going to conquer all. Like, it's got that poetic feeling about it. There's just this almost Disney-like feel to it, and I welcome it, because Van Damme really chews up the screen in this, just by the way he acts. His vocab's very limited in this film, but the power of his eyes and the way he moves when he's fighting is priceless. So yeah, I'm going to put Airwall, Lionheart right here. Now, this is probably a crazy decision, but sudden death. I can rewatch this many times because it's a Van Damme doing a Die Hard ripoff, and it's great. Powers Booth is a great villain. Some of the deaths in this film are very graphic, like they don't hold back, and then some of the fight scenes are silly. Van Damme's fighting against a woman dressed as a mascot at an ice skating rink, and that particular fight scene is silly. Like, if they wouldn't have had that, this would be further up the list. That's how much I love this film. It's great. Now, don't shoot me here, but at number 4, I've got Bloodsport. Do I love this film? Of course I do. Everybody loves Bloodsport. But is it my number 1 to rewatch? No, it's not. It's not. I do rewatch it, but it's not the one that I would go, you know what, this is Van Damme. Even though it's just too, there's something missing. I don't know if it's a Hollywood quality to it. So it's not a number 1, but is it a great film? Yeah. And does it have some great songs in it? For sure. And does it have Forrest Whitaker in it? Yes. And is he running around? Yes. And is it good? Yeah, it's great. It's great. Okay, at number 3, I have got Desert Heat. I don't know what it's called in your country, but we're just going to call it Desert Heat. I can't remember what it's called in which place. This film really captures how Van Damme can act. He plays this drunk. It's just such an eerie film. You've got Pat Morita in this movie. They're all in this like diner in this weird town that's getting overrun by these hillbilly bullies that are just taking what they want, killing who they want. And Van Damme's like, nah, I'm not having this. And it also has Danny Trejo as his friend. And it's just wonderful. He's like this friend that seems like a spirit guide on his shoulder. And Van Damme listens to him, and there's just something really like golden about this film that I love it, and I love rewatching it. Okay, now on number 2, what could it be? It's Nowhere to Run. Again, this utilises Van Damme's acting. I've seen him do enough high kicks by this point and spinning roundhouses and doing the splits that when I watch Nowhere to Run, I want to feel the heart of the story. I want to feel some emotions, and in this one we get to see Van Damme take to this family. They take him in. We get to see him almost happy with a new family to protect and being a good guy, and I can rewatch this all day long. It's a great movie. Okay, number 1 is Kickboxer. The reason for it, it's just wonderful. It's got the song Streets of Siam. Paul Herzog does a wonderful job with the soundtrack. It's got gorgeous scenery, some of the best training sequences. We get to see Van Damme fighting what seems to be an impossible opponent, and it's just an absolute delight to watch from start to finish. The music's amazing. I've already mentioned that. I love the training sequences so much. Are they believable? Absolutely no way. We already know that Van Damme can stretch his legs, so that's pulling machine that he's on. It's silly, but we get to see Van Damme dancing, and this film, just watch it. Watch it, don't bother with any of the sequels. Watch this one, because this is where it's at. And that concludes my top 10 Van Damme films. If you agree with me, that's brilliant. I'm really, really happy. And if you don't, then I'm sad for you, because your taste in films is piss poor. Thank you.